January 2020? Wow, when I was a kid back in the 70s, I thought the year 2000 would be surreal. I never imagined it being 2020. And looking across my life, never in my wildest kid dreams did I imagine that I'd be a theology professor. And never in my craziest dreams did I imagine I'd be an unprofessor doing a podcast. But life is weird, and you gotta roll with it. Welcome today, my premium members. I have an ice-cold treat for you. A review of the new Frozen 2 movie. Last week I got to take my 4-year-old granddaughter, Wiggs, with me to see Frozen 2. She and I sat there and laughed out loud, groaned out loud, clapped together, and commented to one another out loud about all the sophisticated plot developments, the storyline twists, and we did all that to the chagrin of the 10 other people who were there in the afternoon theater with us. What's that? No, I'm not going to tell you how your own child or grandchild will enjoy the movie. Huh? No, I'm not going to venture a guess into the cultural implications of what Frozen 2 will mean for civilization in, say, 10 to 20 years. Nuh-uh. What am I going to do today? Venture into territory that no other movie critic will venture. A sophisticated, take it totally serious in a goofily you way movie review. So sit back with your bowl of non-GMO popcorn and enjoy. First, I got to talk about the actors. Elsa Oldenburg, who, just like in Frozen 1, plays, yep, you got it, Elsa Oldenburg. She was her usual spot on, singing voice ringing out with her pitch perfect, bird-like pitch. She nailed the melodies of every single line. You just cannot beat her for a good show tune. I mean, the girl can swirl, right? I mean, she can dance. Put her in a nondescript forest somewhere and watch her go. Drop her in some magical snow and ice storm and she can cut a rug. You go, girl. And goodness, her costumery, her makeup, her thick braided hair, OMG, her perfectly braided blonde hair. How can you top all of that? Sumptuous. Let's just say it. She's so well put together. What a doll. My problem, though, with her in this sequel, she continued on with her whole I'm the reason you were all looking for attitude. Her whole I'm the secret of the forest. Yes, oh yes, I'm the fifth spirit I've been looking for. That entire demeanor. Her whole without me there'd be no movie plotline pretense. And that whole because I'm a beautiful blonde, everyone should bow down before me routine. It's, what do we do with it? That whole I do for me what I do for me. Woo! I mean, her goal is the goal of her life her? Her self-centeredness was sad. Who's advising Elsa? Who's her agent? Doesn't she know that vibe will never garner her roles in later top-grossing films? Honestly, I was embarrassed for her. So played. Didn't we do this already in Frozen 1? Wasn't Elsa in Frozen 1 the reason that all of us exist? And we had to endure her megalomania again in Frozen 2? So self-consumed. I mean, she still thinks she's all that in a bag of chips. She desperately needs a dose of humility. And of course, then we have Anna Oldenburg. Adorbs. Clearly, she took to heart Ariana Grande's thick and sophisticated wardrobe pointers. Here's what Ariana Grande said. The best fashion advice I'd say would be just to do what makes you comfortable and what makes you feel cute. And that's how you're going to look your best, because when you feel your best, everyone else can feel it too. Anna? Yeah, she did it. Just cute as a button. She's a self we all get to relish. I sat there watching her, wondering to myself, my goodness, what a cherub. She's she's so comfortable in her own rose-painted skin. She totes gets how that magenta cloak highlights her own rosy cheeks. It's exquisite pairing. And better still, Anna clearly lives from a deep sense of inner peace. She only wants to give, only wants her sister to succeed in life, only wants the forest to thrive in harmony. We should all be like Anna, no question. She is her best self in Frozen 2. But still, for all my preening about Anna, she has a blind spot, right? The girl cannot see, refuses to see, has never been told that her sister is a self-absorbed prima donna. Ever know people like that? People who, even though they mean well, they ignore the glaring character faults of those they love? In the end, and I don't say it happily, in the end, they only empower their loved ones to run over them like a pink and purple horse-drawn carriage, run over them like a herd of watery horse spirits, run right over their own hopes and dreams for a happy marriage, a happy life. Gosh, I love you, Anna, but your codependency on Elsa is a drag, girl. Anna the enabler. Let's hope her next film role choice is just a bit more mature. And then there's Kristoff. Big goof. Just, just totally authentic. With Kristoff, you get what you get. Perfectly cast. Easy going if not just a little dopey, but that's all right too. I mean, after all, in today's thank God we're woke now culture, everyone is in on the secret that men, well, at least leading men, are indeed dopey. Men are always dumber than women. Everyone knows that. So, thank you, Kristoff, for being, well, for being yourself. Thank you for reminding us again that men are dull, unthinking, and small-minded, even if they do mean well. Just so great. And in the end, Anna graciously still wants to marry you, you big chowderhead. And what about Olaf? Oh, he's the perfect comedic relief, right? I mean, here we have Frozen 2 exploring serious philosophical elements of human existence, the layered metaphysical relationships between human nature, animal nature, magic, mystery, and impersonal pantheism, and the stressful quality of a royal family existence, the long lingering effects of history gone awry. We can't stay in the tortured depths of all that all the time. We crave, no, we moviegoers demand a little comedy along the way. Comedy relieves all the anxious texture of the plot line. And Olaf, cute little dweeb, he gives us just that, some much-needed, light-hearted laughter. He doesn't even seem to mind while we laugh at his long orange proboscis. He doesn't mind at all being the butt of the movie maker's private jokes. Dumb little white guy. Olaf so easily discombobulated. And clearly he's unaware of his privilege, his proximity to royalty, and it's particularly clever. All it takes is a little heat, existentially speaking, and poor Olaf melts right on the spot. So there's some of my, insight about the characters. I gotta tell you two things that I didn't like about the movie. Number one, there was far too much CGI. Sometimes you sometimes you gotta do it real life. And on a related point, secondly, there were way too many painted backdrops. It had only cost a little more to go out into an actual forest and do some shooting. I mean, hey, it's a movie about nature, right? So let's let it have just a bit of a natural feel. Okay, there's some of my overview of the cast and the way the movie was shot. What about the plot line? Oh, you guys, this is where the writers got it just right. Look, my good premium supporters, my listeners today, I have to warn you. Spoiler alert! Things turn out fine in the end for everyone. But at last, oh, thank you, Disney Studios, thank you. At last, we're presented with the truth behind all the citizens living in Anna and Elsa's idyllic and royal realm of Arendelle. They are, whether witting or unwitting, evil folk. So poignant, so good to paint them, to let us know that secretly they're evil, and it was, oh my gosh, it was so nuanced that if you weren't paying attention, if you weren't aware that even cartoons today are smoked through and through with postmodern philosophy, why, you'd miss it. After all, the Oldenburg girls' fat grandpa stole the water for the Arendelle Dam, stole the pristine forest water from the indigenous North Oldra forest folk. Me? I sat there watching, laughing out loud with my granddaughter Wiggs, thinking, yes, yes, oh, at last, yes. Every 4-year-old in America should finally realize that they too are implicitly guilty. Guilty for being born, guilty for having filthy rich parents, because, right, only the filthy rich can go to movie theaters. Guilty for being evil, invading foreigners. Guilty, especially guilty if they don't know they're guilty. Oh gosh, Disney Studios, yes. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us all of the story back from 1592 when the Japanese Royal Army first invaded Korea, because the movie was 100% directly drawing from that sad era in history. Those poor Koreans. They were the indigenous, the poor, noble, the true. All they ever did was pacifistically commune with nature. All they ever did was live in a sacred land before filthy civilization poked in its bald, fat, Caucasian head. And the evil Japanese army, well, they took the North Aldrins' land and chopped down their forests, and yes, even pillaged their rivers. Those evil Japanese samurai built a massive dam and flooded the Korean forest. Those poor indigenous North Aldrian Koreans, they didn't even know what was coming. They just sat around their campfires communing with nature while the water rose higher and higher over the glens, over dales, over the aesthetically pleasing human sacrificial pillars, over the hills, up and over the indigenous Korean lean-tos and mud roof-thatched dwellings. Yes, the flood was as clear a case of cultural imperialism that has ever existed. And thank all our stars, no, thank our movie stars in heaven, Disney knew enough to have Frozen 2 retell that horrid event in history, those god-awful pain-inflicting Japanese colonizers, so that we could all laugh and learn. Well, laugh and learn and cry and sing. Oh, thank you for songs about magic, and laugh and cry about the horrible events on an Asian peninsula 420 years ago. Wow, Disney, just wow. Who knew? Who knew that with Frozen 2, Disney would finally, oh, for the love of Walt, teach us all a lesson long forgotten. the cultural imperialism of the Japanese samurai. No, no, even more the horrors of colonialization and a post-colonial existence at Arendelle. Oh, there's some plotline review. But then the music, the singing, the resplendent colors, the beauty, it will all help every 3 to 6 year old in America learn a lesson they must never forget. The attempted Japanese colonization of Korea was it was a historical horror. And thank you, Disney. Thank you. Bravo! Bravo! Me? Me and my 4-year-old granddaughter Wiggs, we literally skipped out of the theater laughing and vowing because we took a pinky blood oath vow there in the neon lit foyer, vowing never to be guilty of Japanese colonization again. And with her innocent little blue eyes, Wiggs looked deep into my own eyes and said, "Jeepaw, are you really sorry?" Me? I forced back a magical purple river of tears. I took her and I hugged her and I said, "Oh, honey, I'm more sorry than I can ever express. And yes, sweetie, yes, I'm so grateful that Disney had the philosophic forethought to put out a movie that could remind us all of how guilty we are." What did my little Wiggs then do? She hugged me back and she said, "I love you, fat, bald-headed Jeepaw. I just love your guilty self." Frozen 2. Holy shnikes! Oh, for the love of humanity, turn your brains on, everybody.